We got Antonio going a little bit in the pass game. I think we can get some more production from both of them in the run game. Would have liked to do a little bit better there. Not all of that is on them, although those guys can play better as well. But they're two really good players. I think like I said, they complement each other, and I think they're both going to continue to get better, especially B-Rob, just being a rookie.
What can you do in the run game then if you want to get them going a little bit more? What can you do there?
No, I don't know if it's anything we can do necessarily. There was a couple, I stuck with or we stuck with the run. Because we were really close on a couple plays, maybe one block here or finish a block, and you could see that on the field as well as on the pictures. So we felt good about that. We weren't able to do that. I mean, I think we mixed the run scheme stuff. We had some good looks. We just weren't able to get it done for whatever reason. Like we wanted to, but we're real close in that department, and obviously ran the ball pretty well the week before. So I feel good about that going forward. Some games, like I've said this before, guys, games are going to come up different.
Oh, Scott, Trey Turner back in the lineup last week. Obviously had some struggles early on. What did you see from him this week? What did you like?
I was happy for Trey. I've known Trey for a really long time. He jokes, he calls me his cousin because we obviously have the same last name. But but no, on a personal level, he did not play well early. He knows he didn't play well early. Sadiq was playing. Sadiq was sick. Trey stepped in and really played well. Really had a complete game. There's a couple plays that he's going to want back. I think any offensive lineman is going to do that, but was physical. He was himself again. Did a really nice job on picking up some stunts, finished blocks, played with an edge that he's kind of known for. So it was good to see that. He ended up earning a game ball for his performance. So I was really happy for him, and it helps us obviously when he plays that way.
In the play where Taylor throws it to Terry deep, obviously they improvised some of that off the initial play. When you see that, what do you make of their ability to improvise off of whatever you called in real time?
Yeah,
like that?
That's part of the game. You look at all the really good, the quarterbacks in this league, and they're making a lot of off schedule plays. And the Colts have a good pass rush. They were effective with pass rush. But what happens in those situations, those 2-minute drills, you run a couple plays, and the defense is on the field, and they're in the play 3-4 plays in a row. Now all of a sudden they're not rushing quite as hard, and Taylor was able to recognize that, keep the play alive. Terry, was running a stop route, felt them sitting on him. He spun out of it. Luckily Taylor saw it and gave Terry a chance, and obviously you guys saw the play that Terry made. But that's something that it's got to be part of your offense. When if they're rushing 4 and they're not getting home. Quarterback's got to be able to move around and improvise, and it adds another layer to your production.
Coming into the season, I imagine you have felt pretty good about tight end with Logan Thomas and John Bates. It hasn't quite worked out that way. What have you made of everybody you've had come through and what you've seen from them?
Yeah, I think we've had a lot of different guys play. We have guys banged up in and out of the lineup. I think that group is continuing to get better. John and Logan are getting healthy. Armani's the guy that's been consistent throughout, and you've seen kind of his growth. He plays so fast. We got him that screen that was a big play on that field goal drive, the second to last drive of the game. He's a physical player, and he's a guy that he's like coaching 101 is like, if you're going to make a mistake, do it 100 miles an hour, and he's like that person personified. And he's been that way from the moment he got here, and then as he's gotten more reps, he's made less mistakes. He's doing things the right way, and he's got a chance to be a very good player. So I'm excited about him. And then we'll see on Cole as far as the health goes. But I like the group. It'd be great to have them all healthy and kind of interchange them. But as of so far, it's been kind of play the guys that are available.
Coach, Zadarius Smith had a pretty good game last weekend against a backup center. The Vikings did a lot to kind of isolate him against that center. Is there something that you, as a coach, seeing that on film, can do scheme-wise to help combat that if they try to do that again this weekend?
Yeah, you try to. The thing about him is they move him around. Most of the time, he'll line up to our left, but they do the spinner package where he goes and lines up over top of the center. We're going to do some stuff to help and as much as we can where we don't have him singled really on anybody, but definitely on the center. He's every time you go into a game week, who are the playmakers, and he's the number one guy. You circle, and they got more than just him. But we're going to have our eyes on him and make sure that he doesn't wreck the game.
When you and Taylor were in Minnesota together, what do you just remember about Taylor from that time, of how kind of fresh he was into the league and just?
So yeah, we got Taylor's undrafted free agent. I was the quarterback coach. He's always, he's older now. I guess he's more mature, but now you guys know him, but he's always, he was the exact same as he is now as a player. I mean, he's just going to go out there and play, with his hair on fire, and that's what you like about him, you appreciate about him. He made our team as an undrafted. He made our 53-man roster because of the way he performed in the preseason, and it was a lot of what you guys see on Sunday. He's gotten a lot better. He's learned. He's got more experience now. I always joke with him that he made the team because the 5th-round receiver was Stephon Diggs, and undrafted, the guy that was a second or third year guy was Adam Thielen, and they were playing with him in the fourth preseason game, and it's like, no wonder you look good, against a bunch of backups, but no, Taylor, he's his style of play has been the same. He's just he's just learned some and gotten better, with experience.
And what do you think clicked for him those final 2 drives?
It wasn't just him. I mean, it was, we had some plays. I mean, the third drive of the game was as good as you can get. We didn't have third downs. We just go right down the field and score. And then we had other drives in the first half where we got, 20, 25 yards. And then, we just couldn't convert on third downs. And that's been our issue in other games this season as well. I mean, we had a little bit of resurgence where we did better on third downs in Green Bay, especially in the second half. And you saw we were able to move the ball and score points. And then this past game, we just struggled on third downs, and we got to stay on the field. And I already talked about, the run game. I think we can get some more production there. But like you look at the course of the game, and we were, at Taylor was 9 yards an attempt. I mean, it's pretty good. We couldn't sustain. And then, at the end of the game, it's you don't have a choice. And we converted 2 fourth downs on both of those drives, which was huge. I mean, obviously the third down issue was still an issue, but we got the first down on fourth down, and he kept some plays alive, and just on the whole offense, the urgency. We just have to have that sense of urgency early in games, because obviously we're capable of doing it. We just need to be more consistent.
Going QB sneak there to finish that drive. Taylor's a smaller player. You have these running backs. What went into that choice?
The ball, when he spotted the ball, it was inside the 1. And then, of course, we call timeout, and the ball is fully on the 1 yard line. We had a timeout, so I felt good about that. When it's that situation, you can do anything on offense, so they're not just playing the sneak, so you kind of have a better advantage from that. Taylor, I told Taylor to tell the guys in the huddle that, hey, knock your guys into the end zone. I knew their defensive line was tired because they just defended an entire, really 2-minute drill, 2 80-yard drives in a row. So I felt like we could get it in, and we had the timeout, like I said. So.
And all these ways you're involving Curtis with handoffs and tosses and stuff, like, is it give you a lot of freedom there just to know that he could run inside like a running back, but then you have him get on the outside jet sweeps, and how fun is it to utilize a guy?
Yeah,
like
it is for sure. I mean, he's the type of guy that he's easy to get the ball to because you can do different things with him. He's an explosive player. Obviously, you guys see that. So any way we can get it in getting the ball in his hand is good. I still think there's some things we can get with him a little bit more down the field, but getting it in his hand behind the line of scrimmage is good because he's gonna more often than not gain yards.
When you're sustaining drives, does that allow you to get into rhythm as an offensive coordinator?
Yeah, for sure. It just you have this list of plays you want to get called, and you don't get a third down, then you got to kind of start over, and stuff bounces off each other. So it does. Not only me, but like the line, it gets them to get in a rhythm of coming off the ball and mixing the run and the pass, and the quarterback, playing multiple plays in a row, the running backs of finishing downhill. I mean, just our offense in general. I mean, big plays. We had the big play to Terry on the jerk route on the 42-yard gain that led to the touchdown. Obviously, those help you scoring, but converting third downs. When we convert third downs consistently, we've gotten ourselves to where we can score points, whether it be touchdowns or field goals, and that's just like I said, that's just something that we got to continue to improve on.
I'm sorry if someone asked this earlier and I missed it, but Taylor talked about being comfortable in tempo in those 2-minute settings. Is that something you could explore outside of those late game situations? To maybe
Yeah,
make
absolutely. And we've mixed it at times. And again, it all goes back to, staying on the field. If you want to go tempo first, second, third down, all of a sudden you're off the field, defense is back. That doesn't help your team. Getting that first down, staying on the ball. Those are things you can do, but you gotta get it. You gotta get it going and get it started.
It's a very specific question, but Taylor was talking about this on another interview about his growth in throwing the dig routes, like to Cam Sims. How important is that route alone in your offense, and have you seen a growth in him in that route specifically?
Yeah, that's something that he's always felt comfortable with, like those intermediate throws in between the numbers. He has a good feel for that area of the field. He's got a lot of trust in just understanding catch points and, turning the ball loose. So that's been good, and letting his guys kind of work back into the ball, like you talked about with Cam Sims. Yeah, so that's one of the throws that's kind of been one of his strengths really throughout. And then the more he's played with these guys, he feels comfortable with those individual players as well.
And you mentioned wanting to get more production out of your backs. Brian Robinson, just early in his career, obviously. What do you think is the next step for him, just in terms of growth and learning?
I think it's just being consistent with his run tempo and his tracks, and not trying to get more than what's there. I think sometimes maybe, a lot of young backs will, try to be perfect with your ball placement, where it's just like, hey, just hit your track, and then, you're a good runner, trust your vision. And with a guy like B-Rob, and you've seen it when he gets going, like he might get contacted, but he's going to finish 1, 2, 3 yards, and then, be happy with that 4-yard run, and then understanding that, like, as the game goes on, that's going to turn to 5, 6, 7, and then next thing you know, you're going to pop out of there, and it doesn't just, you don't go searching for it. Just run the run as it's designed, and then it'll come to you.
All right. Last one. What's your concern level with Jahan having missed much time today?
Yeah, I leave that up to the trainers. I think he'll be back fairly soon. Obviously, I don't know if it's going to be this week. It's just one of those things. He's never had an issues like that. So sometimes when a guy hasn't had soft tissue and then they have one for the first time, they kind of just got to get over that. But he'll be back. It's going to be quicker than I think. It's not something that I'm worried about. It's just one of the unfortunate parts of the game. You know what I mean? That we got injuries, and we got guys that got to step up, and we will.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.